Today we're going to do our instructional TDA on I to B, and this is part 2. So yesterday when I left you, you were reading through the Google Slides of our story I to B. Today, I would like you to read through this one more time before you start this video, so you may pause it if you need to. We're looking for evidence of something that I to B thinks, something she does, or something she says. And we're trying to prove that I to B is finding happiness. Okay, hopefully you had some time to read through that a second time. We are going to complete our evidence, inference, and analysis chart today. So what I'm looking for is one action, one thought, and something that she said connected to the theme. I'm going to go back to my story, and I want to kind of focus towards the end of our story, where she is kind of finding that happiness, because at the beginning she's talking about how alone she feels. She kind of doesn't like the decision her parents made. She feels kind of secluded. And then towards the middle/end, her teacher decides to ask her to read aloud for the class. Now, we find out as we're reading that her teacher most likely did this on purpose. She has been lending books to Ida pretty frequently because she finishes them in 1 or 2 days. So her teacher already knows that Ida loves to read, and by allowing her to read out loud to the class, she knows that she's doing something that she loves. And sure enough, Ida B really comes to life. She becomes immersed in the story, and she does this amazing job of reading aloud, and the students in her class are really impressed with her. She gets a really nice compliment from a student too. She's starting to feel more like herself and more happiness being at this school where she originally didn't want to be. So I'm kind of scanning our text a little bit. The teacher's asking for a guest reader. She's explaining that Ida already read the book. Could you read the first chapter? She was shocked and embarrassed. Going a little bit more. She was hypnotized by her teacher and agreed. Let's do a little bit more scanning. Okay, I like this part right here. It says, at first I was worrying about all those people watching and listening, but after a few minutes I left that classroom and went into the story. I was in Alexandra's laboratory instead of school, and I was just saying out loud everything I saw her do or felt her feel. I let my voice tell the way she did and saw it and felt it. So I kind of like how she is talking about going into the story, and she's feeling happy that she's a part of it. So I'm going to go into my chart, and I'm going to say, I'm going to go back and see what page 253. So I might use the sentence starter. On page 253, Ida begins to read aloud to the class. She loves reading and quickly gets into the book. She thought, and this is where I'll use quotation marks to show the evidence came from the story, not from my own words. After a few minutes, I left that classroom and went into the story. I let my voice tell the way she did it, saw it, and felt it. You may need to resize your text like I did. It's a little big for that box. And end quotation marks to show that that's the evidence. Now, I need to explain why I picked that and what that has to do with happiness. So I'm going to say, Ida normally reads alone, but was able to share her love of reading with the class. Remember that Ida feels really alone. It's her first time at public school. She's not getting along with her parents. Her mom has cancer, so that's a really scary thing for her family to go through. Her mom hasn't really been the same since she's been sick. So being able to share this book that she already likes, already has read, she's confident about reading aloud, brings her joy. Okay, for our analysis, we want to connect it to the theme. This supports the theme of happiness because, and this is where I make that connection between the inference and the other element of theme. This supports the theme of happiness because Ida feels joy sharing that experience of loving the book with others. Okay, so again, the first element is here. This is what Ida thinks, and then I'm connecting it to the theme, which is our other element. I'm going to do another one with you. So since I found something that Ida thought, I'm going to look for something different next. Maybe I'll look for something that Ida said or something she did. So I'm going to scan for new evidence. Okay, I like this right here. This is something that Ida felt. Nothing was different except for the warm glow that was in my belly, and my arms and legs and my head wouldn't go away, even on the long, cruddy ride home. So even though she hated that bus ride back home, she still felt that warm glow, that kind of happiness building inside of her. And why did she have that happiness? Because right above it, Ronnie said, "You read real good, Ida." He gave her a compliment that made her feel very good. So maybe I'll use the sentence starter. Change my size before I get started. Ida began to feel happiness when Ronnie complimented her reading. She thought I'm going to say she felt. And I want to kind of write this here. Nothing was different except the warm glow that was in my belly. I'm going to use what's called an ellipse, the 3 little dots, 1, 2, 3, to show that that wasn't the entire text evidence, but that's enough to help me go to the next part. So I want to talk about that feeling. What does that mean? This shows Ida feels wonderful when Ronnie says she read real good. He noticed her. And then for my analysis, I might say this means Ida feels, I don't want to say happiness again because I said it right here. I also use the word joy, so I'm going to try to think of another synonym that enhances my word choice instead of repeating myself a lot. This means Ida enjoys sharing the story and is shocked when others are impressed with her reading. She doesn't feel so alone, and the compliment helps her build a bit of happiness. I'm going to go back to that element. Okay, so what I would like you to do at the close of this video is I want you to try the last row of the chart on your own. I would go back into the story. I kind of left you on slide 8, so you have, I think, 3 more slides to look at. And we're trying to find another example of Ida showing that she is like building happiness, getting happiness by the end of the story. So you'll put your evidence here. You'll tell me what that thought, action, or feeling means, and then you're going to connect it to the theme of happiness. Okay, good luck. I'll look over your chart and provide you some feedback, and then tomorrow we will turn this chart into our actual writing.